24 NHL trades yesterday involving 43 players and 21 draft picks, but the biggest news was made by the Flames when they announced their captain, Mark Giordano, out for the season. Ooh. Eric Francis from Jack FM and Sportsnet is here to break down all the news from around the NHL and here at home. That is a blow. Boy.
Not completely surprising, the way they ominously handled this news for the last handful of days. But yeah, a terrible blow, and probably the biggest story of the day in the National Hockey League, you know, overshadowed by all the other things going on. But, you know, I think I'm going to say what I think a lot of people are thinking but are scared to say. Their chances of making the playoffs without Mark Giordano are zero.
There you go.
Zero. Okay,
that was my question. I was going to say, are they in or out?
Yeah, that's a blatant assessment.
I'm generally quite a pessimistic fellow when it comes to the Flames, but there's so much optimism for the future for this team moving forward. But come on, without him, it's just another blow that I don't think they have the depth to overcome.
A lot of people talking about the technology and sticks maybe partly to blame for all of the energy, because you saw a stick get jammed up as he was winding up as hard as he could to rim it around the glass, right? Stick gets in there, all the energy goes into his arm.
I'm not going to buy into that theory. It was a fluke situation, and in my mind, I'm sure Gio knew the minute that happened, the second that happened, he was done for the year. Yeah. And so the fact that the team decided to play a bunch of games PR-wise and hide the fact that he was hurt, a little insulting to fans if you ask me. But anyway, the bottom line doesn't change the fact that Gio is out and there's no way to replace him. Even some people who thought they should have made an attempt to plug that hole yesterday, you can't plug the hole left by the guy who's probably the best defenseman in the National Hockey League this year. There weren't a lot of great defensemen being thrown around yesterday. They were just fill-in players around the league, and the Flames, I think they did the right thing by not getting involved in anything that would try to help the team now, especially in light of the fact that Giordano's out.
Now, somebody who was out, at least emotionally, finally got dealt. Curtis Glencross went to the Capitals in exchange for a second and third round pick. Fair?
Fair,
I think so.
More than fair. You know, this was an example of how the prices were so inflated going into the deadline. I think going into the deadline, they hoped they might get a second. They were dreaming of a second rounder for Curtis Glencross. Probably were willing to accept a third. The fact that they got both, a major coup for the organization as they move forward.
Yeah. How about Sven Berchi, too? He wanted out, also garnering a second-round pick.
That's a bit of a coup as well. I mean, the Vancouver Canucks, that's the only thing that people aren't happy about. The fact that he's going to Vancouver and he may come back to haunt the Flames down the road. But I'm just going to tell you, they were the only team interested in Sven Berchi. And the fact that they gave up a second-round draft pick is huge payoff for the Calgary Flames. It's a perfect solution for everyone involved. For Sven Berchi, who wasn't going to come back, and it wasn't working out here. He'd been passed by so many guys on the depth chart. He was an afterthought. And it's a perfect solution for the Flames to get a draft pick. And Vancouver's happy, too, because they think they've got a guy who they can put in their top 6. I think they're dreaming in Technicolor in Vancouver.
Well, he certainly couldn't find his footing here. Let's talk about Olli Jokinen. Olli Jokinen making a bid to play for every single team in the NHL. And so, what, 15 days with the Toronto Maple Leafs? And now off to St. Louis.
Didn't have much of an impact with the Leafs, shockingly. So they decided, okay, well, this isn't working. No, this marks the 1/3 mark. He's played for 1/3 of the teams in the National Hockey League.
Are you serious?
Yep. And this is the 10th team. And Olli Jokinen, this was just basically this is not an impact move. The St. Louis Blues are my pick to win the Stanley Cup this year. There's no way he's getting into that lineup unless they have a whole bunch of injuries in the playoffs. So it's just kind of fun to say the name Olli Jokinen more than anything else.
And his hair.
He's got hair now.
Yeah.
When he was here, he didn't have any, so it's kind of shocking for people to see.
But anyway, we do want to get to this. Eric, I know you wanted to talk about this. Really, we were saying kind of earlier, the biggest takeaway from the trade deadline might be the letter that Jordan Leopold's daughter wrote.
I think this is such a beautiful story. She's 11 years of age. She's really missing her father. He's from Minnesota, played college hockey there, and he lives in Columbus playing for the Blue Jackets. Well, he's not even been playing lately. So she wrote a letter to the coaches of the Minnesota Wild saying, can you bring my daddy home? We miss him. He's lonely, and we can't go another day without our dad. And you know what? The GM of the Columbus Blue Jackets saw the letter and said, you know what? Sometimes it's more than just about business. Sometimes it's about people. And they shipped him off to Minnesota where he'll play for the Wild.
Which is not a bad gig for him, right?
The Wild improved dramatically over the last 7 weeks, starting with Devin Dubnyk, a Calgarian, that's been the best trade in the National Hockey League over the last year for sure. And they even got better yesterday with a couple other moves they made. But more than anything else, the Leopolds are united again, and it's one of those nice stories. I like that.
All right, well, as we move towards the playoffs, I'm sure we'll bring you in again. Eric Francis from Jack FM and Sportsnet, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.